Welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are well. I had intended to do a video before now. Things have been a little busy and hectic, not in a bad way, simply busy. And so this is the first real opportunity that I've taken to try to make another video. Actually, this evening I have done two other videos. This will be the third in a series, hence why I'm wearing the same clothes. A short recap on that, as I mentioned in the other videos, which you may or may not have seen. There was a post made in a group that I'm in on Facebook called Eclectic Wicca and Witches, and one of the admins had made this post basically encouraging those of us who are interested in working with tarot or oracle decks, if we wanted to give some free readings, that we could make a post there and people, could ask for a reading. And so I felt drawn to do that, and within, a matter of seconds, literally it was less than a minute, I received two messages there in the thread of people wanting readings, and so I decided to go ahead and do both of those, and I did those earlier. So that was an amazing experience. I really enjoy working with the cards. The second reading, it was so interesting. I had cold chills when I drew the last card of that reading, like just the intuitive feeling, and everything seemed synced together, like it was just very right, and a lovely feeling. And I intend to do a reading for this month, sort of for anyone who may be watching this video. So I'll get to that eventually. I'm not really sure how in depth I want to go into updates. There again, like I said, things have been busy, but nothing major. I've still been doing magical work. I've been keeping up with the meditation and stuff like that. I started reading a new series. I think I mentioned in some previous videos that I'm a huge fan of the Dragonlance series. And the Dragonlance series has like a core set, and then there's a slew of other books that are interconnected to the series but make up their own little smaller sets of series. And so I started reading one called War of Souls, and it's been really good. I'm in the third book right now. I'm almost at the end of the third book, but the thing with me in Dragonlance, when I was young, and we're talking I was probably 16 or 17, maybe 18, my teenage years, I was introduced to Dragonlance by a friend, and it sounds hokey to say that a book series would change your life, but there was nothing in the book series necessarily that was transformative, like not in the story itself, but just the memories attached to the times that I read these stories, and it is sort of interconnected to the seasons, particularly autumn, and it's sort of this remembrance of I would not say necessarily a golden time, but definitely a magical time in my life in the past. And so throughout the years, it's been something that I've sort of went back to from time to time, to revitalize that feeling within myself. And so I'm a huge fan of the books. I definitely recommend that you check them out. If you are at all interested in reading like fantasy, there's like dragons and magic and wizards and all sorts of races on this mystical world named Kryn. And so yeah, it's just something that's very special to me, and I've really enjoyed reading the books. Another note on Dragonlance, a little thing that I will share with you. I hadn't planned to do this, but I'll share it anyway. There are actually D&D campaigns that take place within the Dragonlance world and stories, and I happen to have one of the books. I don't know how well it's coming through via the cam, but yeah, just it's a soft spot in my heart. Literally, you read some of the stories, especially in the core set, and for me at least, I will say you grow so close to the characters. I don't know, it's just very powerful. I won't harp on Dragonlance any further, but definitely, as I said, check it out if you're interested. Another thing that I will share, which I had not planned to share, but I will share. There was another post in this same group that I mentioned on Facebook, and the admins were encouraging people to share magical items, things that they had come across recently that they were going to use in their practice or they had used or things they had bought. And it just so happened, literally, that yesterday I was going through some of my stuff and I came across this wooden dagger. Now, I have had this dagger, I would safely say, probably 22 years. No, longer than that. Longer than that, I would say, well, let's see. Probably over 30 years I've had this dagger. I got it when I was really young, really, really young. And when I came across it yesterday, there was just this intuitive feeling that this dagger had personal resonance to me, and I'm going to use it in my rituals, for my ritual dagger. That's what I've decided. So I shared that to the group, and that was really neat. I feel intuitively very good about making that choice. I have not necessarily sought out other implements that I will eventually use. There's still a lot that I need to gather. But I want that, just like with the dagger, to be an intuitive process. I don't want it to be something that I rush. So time will tell on that front. Unlike some of the other videos that I have posted over the past few weeks, this update video is probably going to be short. There isn't anything, that I want to get into or have a discourse over necessarily. I did want to mention a small note and simply reiterate what I said about this group and the admins there. Intuitively, this feeling that I got when I was writing down these notes for what I was going to do with this video, it was about sharing the importance of gratitude, and being grateful and thankful for people who do things to help you. And so the message here for this video is to those admins in this group that I'm talking about, because it's been my experience thus far that they are very very good about encouraging people in the group to to be active, to participate, and to share, to have a dialogue, and to keep the group lively. And that makes the group itself a great place for people, to come and be a part of. So that was sort of what I wrote there, that I wanted to touch on the importance of that gratitude, and furthermore, the importance, if you're able, to engage, to lend something yourself, because if you're in a group and you're getting something from it, if you're enjoying the posts that you see or the discussions that are being had, it really makes a difference if you give something, even if it's small, just a line like your insight or a like on a post or feedback and stuff like that. It's even small things are inertia, and they keep groups and life itself moving forward. So I would definitely say, be considerate and kind and generous with your time and your energy if you can. Yeah, I think that's all I've got on that. Another thing I will mention kind of tentatively, this goes back to the whole part of it that's an update. recently I've come across some videos on YouTube where these people are speaking in what they term the language of light, or a light language, and I don't know much about that, right? Yeah, I mean, like I've watched videos that were supposed to be elements of this light language that facilitate change, within the person who's listening, and so I've watched several of those. I want to do some further research into this, though. It is interesting to me. And I've had some interesting moments, sort of feelings and intuitions that there may be some resonance in this, that I need to look into it further. So that's what I have been doing. I've had some odd dreams lately as well. I have been admittedly a little lazy with doing that whole dream journal thing, and I got a notebook specifically for that purpose, but it's proven difficult for me to remember to get it out and to write, and I need to start putting it beside my bed before I go to sleep. But yeah, I've had some unusual dreams, not bad, not nightmares necessarily, but my sleep schedule is still sort of a mess. I'm still sorting that out. That is a work in progress. Another thing that I wanted to mention, and I'm having to backtrack here in going into this, I've said this on several of my videos. I said it on the videos when I was doing the tarot readings. Right now, one of my favorite channels is a channel called Sears College, where this girl named Crystal does readings, and she posted a reading today, and it was just so spot on. Like, it spoke to me intuitively about the issues that I'm going through right now in my own life, and like things. What I really like about a lot of her readings is that she includes cards that speak to a productive way to approach these difficulties. So it's not just about like, here's what's going on and here's what will happen, or like there's not a lot of like gray area. She makes it a point to include these cards that say, this may be your challenge, and here's one way that you can try to approach that. This is something that you can do to try to bring harmony and resonance into yourself and in your life and on your path. That's so meaningful to me as a person, because I'm a doer. Like, I really appreciate having a direction, because then I feel like I'm working on whatever it is, rather than the challenge is just existing there and I'm left to try to juggle something to try to figure out how to overcome that. It's the insight in that is so useful to me, and so I want to say thank you to her in this video. And there again, I cannot stress enough, it's my suggestion that you go and at least check out her channel and some of her videos. I have found her readings to be very insightful and very helpful. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I will link these things. I'll link the Facebook group, and I'll link to her channel in the description so you can find that easily. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at these cards, and that's the intuitive theme and feeling that's going on right now, is that I really enjoy working with the cards. I will kind of tentatively say I wish I had started working with these cards years and years ago, and had developed this practice. I mean, I don't feel necessarily like remorse or regret for not having done so, but certainly if I could send a message back through time, I haven't figured that out yet, but were I able to do that, that's certainly a message I would send to myself. I have always felt like I was an intuitive person. Definitely I've always been very sensitive to people and energies. I can go into a room where someone is, and I feel things, and for me it's not about like seeing an image in my head or hearing a clear voice necessarily, but I'm just sensitive. I feel energies, and typically more so if I can sit down and talk to a person, if I can hear them speak, and if sometimes they don't have to get into it, sometimes they can just talk, and I sort of pick up things, but definitely if they present something, usually my intuition sort of kicks into overdrive, and then I can work, I can try to lend some guidance or feedback or insight. And so yeah, it's just these past few weeks, I would say the past 5 or 6 weeks, for me, a part of that has been, sort of this internal question of what is my direction? Um, what direction do I want to go in the future? What things do I want to focus on? And these cards keep coming to the forefront. Not necessarily this deck or even using an oracle. I mean, it may one day be a tarot deck or maybe some other form of divination. But I think intuitive work, working with others, and lending assistance in that way, I think it's a big part of my future. So, as I said, this is going to be a short video. I didn't really have a specific thing that I wanted to get into, but I do want to do this reading. As I mentioned in the previous 2 videos about the readings that I did for those people in my group, right now I have chosen and I am using a 5-card layout, and this 5-card layout was inspired by the videos that I have watched on Crystal's channel, Sears Cottage. It's based on the layout that she uses. I don't think it's an exact duplicate of hers, but definitely her readings were the inspiration for how I'm laying these out, and to some degree how I'm interpreting them and their placement in the reading. So definitely, as I said, check out that link and check out her channel. And I'm going to get into this reading. Give me a moment here to ground myself and connect myself with the energies of the cards. Okay. Let's see what this first card is. Alright. This first card is In Two Minds. And intuitively what I'm getting from this card is very literal. It's simply about a division in the self. It's about confliction. It's about straddling the fence, not knowing which direction to go in, and feeling equally pulled left and right. So this card to me is a crossroads. Yeah, it's about coming to a crossroads and feeling pulled in two directions, and needing to make a choice, needing to move in a direction. This first card, what I have written down here from my layout, is basically a status card for this month. It is where we are at. You know, it's a moment in time. This moment. So this is our beginning as we progress through these. Some type of conflict, some type of crossroads, a division, feeling torn. This makes so much sense. Yeah. This is one of my favorite cards in this whole deck. Not surprising to me that it comes up as a potential obstacle, because it is an obstacle that I myself need to work on, and you know, it's come up in some readings that I have gotten for myself personally, but it also speaks to anyone watching this video, and particularly this month. So here is the card. This is the dreaming. Now this card could be interpreted in a lot of different ways depending on the context and the circumstance. This second card basically represents an obstacle. But obstacle doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. An obstacle is an opportunity for learning. What I see here, though, in this card, what I intuit is that there's a tendency toward daydreaming, or sort of slacking off, or not investing the work that needs to be done to reach a certain goal, because you're only focusing on the goal itself. This card, to me, this obstacle, reminds us to invest the work, to do the work, because the work is important. The work is the inner alchemy that sort of transmutes, you know, the soul. It changes, you know, common metal into gold. It is the path that you walk toward enlightenment. So yeah, this card to me says, to some degree, illusion. It says distraction, idleness, possibly. So in my mind, for this month, that is something to be aware of, is to not get lost in your dreams to the extent that you don't move or work. Let me turn my page back, because I have this written out on a different page. Okay. Wow. I did not expect this. I like this. I like this a lot for this month. Okay. This next card, hopefully you can see it, is the Magician. This third card is what I deem the tool card. It is the thing, the practice, the approach that you can take to overcome your obstacle card. And looking at this card intuitively, what I'm seeing here is creativity. I'm seeing imagination. This Magician is a trickster, but in some sense he's also the shaman. He's one that's willing to go into the darkness, to pull the rabbit out of the hat, to make magic, literal magic, happen in his life. to move forward. Um, there's a lot of activity in this magician card. So yeah, I'm imagination is what I'm intuitively getting from this card. It's about not being distracted by this illusion and taking creative, unique approaches to reaching whatever this goal is that you're looking for. I'm also seeing a lot of creatures in this card, a lot of other beings along with the magician, which speaks to me. Magicians don't get to be who they are or where they are alone. Like, generally speaking, they have a teacher, they are taught, or they're aided by some of these other entities or beings. And so I think this card is also saying that as well. Be open to accepting aid from other people as long as there's harmony and these people are genuinely trying to help you. Be open to that, and it will aid you in moving forward. Hmm. Okay. This fourth card is the Juggler. What I'm getting from this card, this fourth card is sort of the outcome. And by outcome, I mean that there are a lot of different roads that your path will lead you to. And so this could be representing an outcome that references the second card, which says, if you're not attentive to these illusions, here is the outcome of that. It also could represent the alternative, which is, if you use the magician card, use these tools to avoid this dreaming, here is your outcome there. And I kind of get that from this card, that, and in this instance in particular, it could be either one. On a more optimistic, intuitive feeling from this card, I'm seeing balance here. I'm seeing that there's a recognition that via being the magician, using these tools and being creative, you ultimately, near the end of the month, are going to find yourself in a position where you are juggling a lot. But I don't view that as being a stressful thing or a bad thing, because this juggler here is balancing on one leg and he's sort of winking, out of the card as if to say, I've got this. Like, it may seem to someone else like I'm juggling a lot, but I've got this because I've used the tools that the magician gave me. That's the impression that I get from this card. It can be done. Okay, here's our fifth card. I didn't expect this. Okay. The hidden one. Now, what I've written down here and chosen for this layout, the fifth card is a very personal card. This card speaks to anyone who's watching this video. I'm going to give my intuitive impression of this card and what it means in relation to the rest of these and this month in particular. But what's most important is that you yourself look at this card and try to seek out the meaning for yourself, because this is very personal. This speaks to you. And the meaning of it, whatever you take from it, not only will it resonate with these cards, but it will resonate with this month and possibly beyond this month. Like, this is sort of a heart level card right here. The first intuitive, like the top level intuitiveness that I'm getting from this is that this card is about a hidden aspect of the self, possibly a talent you didn't know you had, but it could also represent something deep within the self that hasn't been addressed or worked on. Definitely, to me, this is a very internal card. This is not about external forces or events or things or people. Yeah, and this is all very much tied in because, well, I will show you. If you notice the wings on this hidden one, they almost look like branches of a tree reaching up into the sky. And my intuition is speaking to me and saying to me, this is very significant. It's like something close to the heart, and there are veins running everywhere. Meaning this card is having huge impacts on who you are, who you think you are, and how you live your life. Like, there's a core thing here, as I said, with a, not surprising this showed up as a fifth card. Yeah. If we relate it to these cards, I'll try to go into that interpretation. Yeah, intuitively what I'm getting, this may, I don't know. I'm getting sort of, I don't know how to word this, but it's like a wildness. It's like an inner, passionate, um, unfettered, like emotional place. And in connection with these cards, intuitively what I'm getting is that this passion, these emotions, these thoughts, these feelings are interconnected to this tendency toward the dreaming instead of the tendency to be the magician and do the work, to focus on the goal. So yeah, I think that this card is very powerful. I will show it again to the camera. There again, if you need to pause the video, certainly do so that you can look at the card closely and find your own meaning, because this card speaks, if you're watching this video, this card speaks to you about something important. If for whatever reason you can't see the card very well in the video, leave me a comment and let me know. I will find an image of this card and post it, or I will take a photograph of it myself if I have to and post it for you so that you can see it. Okay, that is my reading for the month. Some of this I had anticipated. This last card, the hidden one, I did not anticipate, but looking at it now, in connection with the rest of these, it does make sense to me. I'm certainly happy to see the juggler and the magician. So all in all, I think it's a very positive reading. So yeah, that's about all I have for this video. You know, maybe if things go well, I'll make another video in the next few days. I may even do either a weekly reading or some other type of reading, I'm not sure. definitely I will link to that Facebook group that I mentioned, and if you are on Facebook and you're interested in Wicca or witchcraft or magic, I would recommend that you join and check out the group and see if you like it or see if it interests you. I certainly hope that you found this reading useful and helpful. Feel free to leave any comments or feedback if you'd like. Certainly further questions. If you have, I don't mind doing a follow-up, a small follow-up, you know. Yeah, thank you for your time and attention.